I'm going to say it 3 times during the show. This will be the first time. You definitely want to go back and watch the Phil Beisel show that I did this morning. It's now called the Phil Beisel show because it's his show. Okay. Anyway, I'll give you the card later. All right. Tesla just finished the week. Oh, you didn't know this is brand new breaking news. Tesla finished the week at a recent high and only a fraction off the high of the day, almost $400 a share. And I know that's breaking news to you. Well, one might contemplate that since it finished near the high of the day, just almost at the high of the day, maybe there'd be a continuation on Monday. You could just as easily project that there's going to be some profit taking, at least at the opening bell. And it might have something to do with which direction the market goes on Monday, as it's trying to decide what's going to happen on Wednesday, which is Fed Day. We'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow night on the Monday morning show. Overall, obviously, I expect a very quick move to an all-time high and then higher than that based on the catalysts that I'll point out to you later on in this show. Obviously, again, obviously, we're still not at that all-time high that I promised you on 6/22 and promised you again on 8/1 and other dates in the past, but we still, according to at least one of the folks that follow me over on X, we don't yet have a robotaxi rollout. We don't have a robotaxi program yet. So once we have the actual robotaxi operational, where we have everybody that can jump on board a robotaxi and lots and lots of vehicles out there, at that point, I believe we will be at 500 or, as you know, more than that. Okay, we've got Yahoo Finance putting it this way. A surprising shift is rippling through Wall Street. EVs are back, and the market has just switched gears on Tesla. Here's why one well-known trader thinks the stock is about to break out. Dan Nathan, a trader on CNBC's Fast Money, turned bullish on Tesla stock Thursday. After a tough stretch for the EV sector, Nathan believes the EV business is back, with Tesla ready to run into the end of the quarter on a mix of technical factors and improving sentiment. So here's how they break it out on Yahoo. First of all, the technicals. From a charting perspective, Tesla has quietly built a strong base with a series of higher lows over the recent weeks. I think higher highs as well. The stock has held its 200-day moving average, and that resilience has drawn traders' attention. I saw all kinds of people talking about this, and I've reported on some of that. Tesla has already begun to rally, gaining more than 12%. Actually, it's more like 14% Thursday and Friday. Now, the catalyst. What's the catalyst that they're seeing? How does Yahoo see the catalyst aspect? Because I'm going to talk way more about the catalyst in a minute. There's a catalyst ahead that could propel Tesla even higher, and that would be third quarter deliveries that are going to be reported on October 2nd. That's the catalyst they're pointing to. It's old Wall Street. This is the pre-AI folks. They're still saying, oh, yeah, well, hey, because they're going to sell a bunch of cars and maybe deploy a little extra energy. This is a reason to jump on board. The consensus estimate on Tesla's Q3 delivery numbers is conservative. By the way, they don't mention it. It's down around 431,000, with expectations sitting at the lower end of historical ranges. Nathan said during that CNBC interview that the upcoming delivery report could surpass to the upside, as EV credits set to expire on September 30th have likely pulled forward demand, leaving Wall Street underestimating the quarter's true strength. But it doesn't say anything about the Model Y in China. Anyway, a surprise to the upside on Q3 deliveries could provide another powerful pop for Tesla's stock. Of course, what it could also do is between now and then, as analysts like him start talking about it, you're going to see those numbers rise, as well as the earnings estimates rising up. And as those two things rise up, that'll cause people to jump on the stock even before we get to October 2. And then if the beat is enough above the street, we might see another pop on October 2. Then he says we have the sentiment. Well, Yahoo says, because they're not. This is not just about what Nathan said. This is also what Yahoo says. So Yahoo says the sentiment also plays a central role in Nathan's bullish call. After months of skepticism about whether Tesla's growth story had peaked, The mood around EVs appears to be shifting, with Tesla's technical setup aligning with a likely interest rate cut next week and traders underweight. Heading into the Q3 delivery report, Nathan argues the risk reward is weighted favorably to the upside. He summed it up in a rare moment where it's a rare moment where both the technicals and sentiment appear aligned, setting Tesla up for a powerful rebound. Technicals and sentiment, but he doesn't mention fundamentals at all. And of course, the fundamentals are really, really massive, because he obviously is not talking about robotaxi. He's not talking about Optimus. Anyway, we'll talk about all that in a minute. Investors.com says it this way: Tesla stock vaulted 12.85 for the entire week, surging 7.4 to 395.64 on Friday during Friday. Tesla's shares advanced 6% to 368.81 on Thursday morning before, of course, the Friday move. So the advance on Friday means Tesla is extended. Okay. Investors could have been buying after Tesla stock cleared resistance at the 357, 358 level, which they've been talking about for months. Tesla stock is also added to the IBD swing trader on was added to the IBD swing trader on Thursday with a price entry at 358, which it blew through in moments. The EV giant has flashed aggressive entries multiple times in the current base, only to quickly fall back in what had been a sideways market. However, since the end of July, Tesla stock has advanced about 22%. Shares have gained more than 13% in September alone. The relative strength line for Tesla stock is moving towards consolidation highs, though well off the 52-week peak. On Monday, Tesla unveiled its Mega Block product, the latest addition to its industrial energy storage line. Meanwhile, CEO Elon Musk continues to tout the potential market for Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot and the company's robotaxi ride-hailing ambitions. Well, they at least give mention. Tesla reports third quarter global vehicle deliveries in early October and quarter three earnings on October 21. We don't know that for sure yet. We won't know that until October 2nd when they announce it, but it's probably going to be on October 21. Tesla deliveries should be strong in quarter three as the U.S. tax credit expires on September 30th. After that, deliveries are likely to fall significantly in the U.S. No. That's where they're wrong. And this is where people are really missing it, is because we're going to have people buying Teslas on September 30th that don't have to be delivered until the end of the quarter to still get the tax advantage. I also have my neighbor across the street, which I'll talk about more about in a minute too. He's, going to buy one car before September 30th, but he's thinking of buying a second car after September 30th as the interest rates come down, and he thinks that Tesla will have to give more deals in October, November, December in order to move inventory. So we'll see. We'll see if he's right. We also have there'll be no inventory. There'll be nothing in the showrooms at all in the month of October, in the beginning of the month. All right. So the S&P 500 stock, they're talking about Tesla. Tesla has a 65 composite rating out of a best possible 99 right now. Tesla stocks has an 84 positive strength rating and a 53 earnings per share rating. All right. This is Randy Kirk, and Phil Beisel was on this morning. This is my second time of telling you this. And what happens on Saturdays right now, I'm not sure whether it's football, whether it's beautiful weather. I'm not sure what's going on. But Phil, last week, he ended up with a very solid number in terms of views. But it was all day long, into the night, into Sunday. It just took forever to get there, like 300 or 400 or 500 an hour instead of 1,000 an hour, which it should be. Anyway, if you haven't watched that video yet, you need to go look at it. I'll put the card up in just a minute. It was just absolutely as stunning as last week's. Everything that Phil says on this show, at least, is amazing. We talked about stuff that I don't think you're going to get on any other channel. There's been little doubt that the 14% gain Thursday and Friday are both a response to very, very good news. Oh no, this is not a newspaper article or a magazine or anything, or an online magazine. This is Randy Kirk talking. Okay, there can be little doubt that the 14% gain on Thursday and Friday are both in response to very, very good news about vehicle sales in China in reaction to the Model YL, And in the US, in response to the fact that the $7,500 tax incentive is going away. Well, then you have the continued progress on robotaxis. So I call that the drip, drip, drip effect. We've had all these little things that are happening with robotaxi. You'll expand the territory here, expand the territory there, add Nevada, add Florida, add New York, add Chicago, drip, drip, drip. All this little every day there seems like there's some little thing that's happening to plant to plow the fields, to get the fields ready for when this thing is going to pop. And then there's the potential future that we were alerted to with the Master Plan 4, and especially with the Elon Musk compensation plan, which we know Elon is going to do what the compensation plan says in order to get his due, to get his shares. And in order to do that, the stock has to be worth at least, well, the market cap has to be worth at least $8.5 trillion, which is about 7 times now, 7 times today, 7 times 400. So that's 2,800, roughly speaking, $2,800. So if that happens within the next 10 years, would that be okay with you? Is that good enough? Certainly, the stock might have been jumping up like that because it included some pent-up excitement about energy storage, because it's a big, big, big business, exemplified by the announcements concerning not just mega blocks, new cells, new packs, the mega block itself, the manufacturing, the fact that Tesla's going to be manufacturing its own transformers, the new cooling system that's based on the Model 3, Model Y cooling system, and the specs of the new Mega Pack 3, which are crazy, amazing specs. Now, maybe it was because there was some enthusiasm about Elon being all in, active every day, and not as active in politics. And then Gwynne Shotwell went on MSNBC, and Elon was at the All In podcast. So you had a lot of FaceTime from the 2 top executives at Tesla, saying good things and making people go, wow, maybe I should get invested. As I think it was, who was it mentioned? It was a Bradford Ferguson on Thursday. Somebody mentioned that, you think that the pop had anything to do with the fact of all those rich AI people that were at the All In podcast, the actual summit, paid a lot of money to attend that summit. Do you think the fact that those folks were there to see Elon might have caused some of them to go out and buy stock on Friday? I'm probably missing, a few other things that happened in the last 4 weeks, which together might have generated a lot of pent-up demand and enthusiasm for the stock that finally broke through on Thursday and Friday. But guess what? We're not out of catalysts. We're not even close to being out of catalysts to come. So let's see if maybe there was some FOMO for these things that are still coming up. Now, one of those is a potential huge beat on energy deployments on October 2nd, and quite frankly, again on January 2nd. And so we could be looking at 14 or 15, which would be a 50% increase over last quarter on October 2nd. Nobody's expecting that except me and the people that pay attention to me, because I don't think you're going to see that on anybody else's channel. 14 is almost a lead pipe cinch, and then we could be looking at 19 or 20, which would be a doubling of Q2 on the fourth quarter. Then you have a beat on profits at the earnings call, because obviously if you got all those deployments and if you get this big beat on cars, then you're going to have a beat on profits. I told you last week, I believe that, and this is probably why the stock went up. I told you last week that I'm thinking we could be looking at 90 cents both quarters instead of 47 cents, 57 cents, somewhere around there, what the street is predicting right now. Then you have the end of the safety riders. There's going to come a day. I don't know whether that day is, somebody asked me on X today, when do you think it's going to be, Randy? I think it's going to be next week, but it probably won't be next week. It might be the next week. And then it might be a month from now, and it might be 2 months from now, and it might be January or February. I don't know. But there's going to be that day. That day is going to come. And, if the creek don't rise, I'll still be carrying, a nice load of Tesla stock in my portfolio to take advantage of the day when that safety rider gets pulled. Then there's going to be the expansion of the robotaxi fleet in Austin and the Bay Area and maybe new cities, because what did Elon say? He said that we're going to be deploying the fleet in enough cities by the end of the year to cover 50% of the US population. I think that means that we got to have some robotaxis on the road in other Texas cities, in other California cities, in Nevada cities, in New York cities, New York City cities, and maybe Chicago, and maybe some of the other southern cities. I think we're going to see a lot of robotaxis on the road. Maybe again, maybe it'll only be 500, maybe only 1,000 by the end of the year, but it'll be in cities across the South in particular is where I think most of them are going to be. Well, okay, and when we see that happening, every time another city gets another city added, even if it's only 12 vehicles and they all have safety riders, it'll be more reason for people to start jumping on the stock. Well, then we got FSD 14. Now, there are rumors this weekend that FSD 14 has been released to the employees, but I have not been able to confirm that rumor, so I'm not going to tell you about it. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to find somebody to tell me that that's a fact. So maybe tomorrow night on the Monday morning show, I'll have that information. But for now, anyway, there's a rumor and many people are talking about the rumor that is out right now to the employees. Then you got unsupervised FSD. You know that I think that is a huge one. Now, it may not pop the stock the same day because I'm not sure that unless there's an event around it, unless there's some kind of a thing, some kind of a PR deal where Elon gets in the car and rides it, even if he just rides it for 5 hours, in the back seat, playing a video game or something. I mean, there's got to be an event because the average person out there, the average institutional buyer, even the average retail buyer is not going to understand the importance of unsupervised, even if it's only in one region or only in multiple cities, which is what Elon has promised. It's going to be in some regions by the end of the year, unsupervised. Now, why do I think that's such a big deal? If you watch the channel, you know, but let me just say it again. Once you get the unsupervised, that unlocks the entire suite. That unlocks everything that's been promised. All of a sudden, you're talking about the cyber cabs and robotaxis everywhere. You're talking about people that are going to buy the car just for that because it's a whole different thing to go to your neighbor and say, okay, let's ride in the back seat. Or for you to go out, to your neighbor and have the car come to you. I think I told you that my neighbor went into, did I tell you the story? He goes over to Tesla the other day to take a test drive, and the salesman, I don't think they call them salespeople there, but anyway, the salesman says, oh, here, wait. And the car comes up with no rider. So he used Smart Summon, which already gets people excited just to see that. So that kind of stuff is going to be happening. So it might take a week, it might take a month, but the unsupervised thing is huge in terms of FSD sales, in terms of car sales, and in terms of the overall future, the recognition that it is finally 100% here. Then you got the Model Q. The Model Q could drop at any moment. I know Model Q, that's the inexpensive version. That is the Model 2. We don't know what the form factor is going to be, and I don't care. It's just a less expensive. Maybe it's going to be $29,900. Maybe it's going to be $32,900. But it's going to be, 5, 10, 15,000 less expensive than a Model 3. Then you get the Cyber Cab and the Cybertruck are starting production either late 2025 or first quarter of 2026. At some point, those two things are going to start getting some interest, and people are going to be paying attention to both of those. And then finally, Optimus is always in the back of every investor's mind. So a minute ago, I mentioned the Musk compensation plan. Well, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I know that you're probably already in favor of it. You're probably going to vote for it and all that, but we need you to vote. You actually need to do the vote. But let me just ask you this question. If you got a phone call right now, somebody called you and they said, look, I would like to send you $100,000 over the next 10 years. I'm just going to send you $100,000. You're like, what do I have to do? No, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sign a document. You just have to, I'm just going to send you $100,000 over the next 10 years. But you do have to agree that if I send you that $100,000, that I get to get $14,000 too. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. You just have to, the guy that's on the phone, I get 14, you get 100. and you don't have to work. You don't have to make a phone call. You don't have to sign a document. You don't have to do anything. Just hold your stock. You can't sell your stock, but if you hold on to your stock for that 10 years, you're going to get 100,000. Well, you're going to get probably a lot more than that, depending on what your holdings are now. But you're going to get something on the order of 7 times the value that you're holding right now. But in the meantime, you have to give 14% of, not 14% of your money, but Elon Musk gets 14% in stock, not even cash. All right. What about the economy and all this? Of course, this channel, we want to look at the company. We want to look at the technicals on the stock market. We want to look at the overall macro in the stock market. We want to look at the overall economy and the macro activities that are happening in the economy in order for you and me and everybody else to be able to make smart moves with regard to our investments. So what about the economy? Oh, yeah. Well, interest rates are coming down. You've heard me say it if you pay attention. If you listen to me all the time, but maybe you weren't watching that day. I know some of you, I know there are some of you who cannot spend 2.5 hours with me every day. I'm shocked. This is sad. But assuming that you watch frequently, you know that I believe that the beginning or probably the 3, 4, 5, however many of these interest rate drops are going to happen is it's the last piece in the puzzle that we need for the economy to start really going crazy. And nobody's paying attention because I do things differently than I know. I'm weird. But why don't people know this? Why aren't people talking about this? There are 2 parts of the economy, 3 actually, if you count trucking, housing, and durables are the 2 parts of the economy that are still not doing well. Which 2 parts of the economy are going to do better if interest rates come down? Oh, housing and durables. Home Depot says, we're not having any trouble selling people the day-to-day stuff. Our sales are doing fine. Our margins are fine. The tariffs aren't hurting us. No, the only thing that we've got is people aren't buying bathrooms. They're not buying refrigerators. And that's hurting manufacturing in the United States. So what we need is lower interest rates so that people will go out and start buying the durables. And housing, if the interest rates come down a lot by the Fed, hopefully 50, right, already they've come down 25 basis points since people just believed that it was going to happen. We're now at 406, I think. Yesterday it was as low as 402, but I think we'll be down under 4 next week on the 10-year. So that's going to bring those mortgages were at 6.25 on Friday. Okay, so as interest rates come down, housing picks up, durables pick up, and because those 2 pick up, then trucking picks up. So all 3 of the parts, all 3 segments of the economy that were doing poorly, all 3 of those pick up. Well, when those 3 pick up, what do you think that does to the people that make under 100,000 a year? That gives them jobs. That gives them really good jobs in manufacturing and housing. All right. That's my prediction. That's what I'm saying is going to happen, and I believe it. But we also have massive amounts of infrastructure and manufacturing coming. All these different companies and countries that have promised, they're already starting to make the plans and turn over shovels. These are all going to happen over the next 6 to 9, 12 months, and all those are going to impact the business cycle. And then we've got AI. So we got AI increasing productivity. You know what that does. And then you got the VIX sitting at 15. So that's telling me that all of you guys out there are risk on right now. All right. Then we have the Tesla technical side. We have this very, very long period of base building. And then the failure of Tesla to follow the rest of the market to all-time highs. It is the last laggard, is one way you could look at it. But maybe with this growing recognition that Tesla is really an AI play, and likely the biggest AI play of them all, then that's also, and on a macro level, is going to help to propel Tesla into new levels. Well, anyway, doesn't all of that seem like this is a stock that's ready to fly? Yeah, and fly it did. It's doing really, really well last week. But if you review the list that I just gave you, the story is far, far, far from over. And many, many analysts and pundits have now joined my estimate of 500 or more by year end. And Brian Wong and I are sticking to our estimate of 1,000 if there's a meaningful rollout of the robotaxi fleet, along with no safety riders, preferably also with unsupervised. Those 3 things together, I think we will definitely be at 1,000 by the end of the year. Well, so anyway, it might take until January, February, March to get to 1,000, but I'd be okay with that too. And I wouldn't even mind that I missed it by 2 or 3 months. Would you? Maybe you wouldn't mind either. Okay. All right. This is the third time now. You want to go watch Phil Beisel. Okay, what did we talk about? We talked about uh, inference. And if you don't understand inference, or if you don't understand, I believe that Phil is going to give you some more information on inference in this video that you don't have right now. I think he's gonna help you to understand it better, but he's also going to help me and you and everybody else to understand why it's so critical and how it fits in overall with the Tesla narrative, what it really means for the future with like Dojo, what it means in terms of Tesla's. You heard, maybe you listened last night to Brian Wong, where Brian is saying, "Hey, an inference chip might be the #1 selling product of all time." Not the Optimus, because every single Optimus gets an inference chip, right? And every single robotaxi car gets an inference chip, and everything that moves gets. So anyway, so inference chips are going to be this massive, massive, massive business, and Tesla is the leader. And you really, really want to know as much as you can about inference chips. So that's why you want to go listen to Phil Beisel. Now, later on tonight, I've already shot the video. Cern Basher is going to be on. And it's just a super fun show where we talk about the history of Tesla stock, the future of Tesla stock, and what it means for your specific portfolio. But we got a couple of other things on that show as well that I think you'll really, really like. And then tomorrow morning is part 2 with Phil Beisel. So up early tomorrow morning, I'll have that running early because, it's got to be ahead of the football games. And Phil tomorrow is going to be talking about kind of a philosophical aspect of AI and how it works and how, well, when Elon says he might want to do a Grokpedia, that's kind of what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about the Grokpedia. How does that Grokpedia work? How do we get to more truth? Now, is anybody else talking about that? Anybody, any other channel? You need to be watching my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please hit notify so you're reminded about Cern tonight and Phil tomorrow, and then me tomorrow night again with the Monday morning show. Yeah, you should be listening to this channel at least as much as you are. And then maybe you have to throw a few of these other guys out. I'm kidding. I love them all. Listen to them all. It's all good. I just think this is better. It's been great talking to you.